hello and welcome to the Pastor Study. I'm Ray Bertolette, and I'm glad that you could be with us. You know, when we start to hear discussion between our two kids, when you hear something going on between two coworkers, a lot of times it happens that the first person that speaks, you start to think, okay, so that's what went down. And you might think, okay, they're in the right, or their case is worthy of being heard. They need to get something out of this. And then the second person speaks. And all of a sudden, the story looks totally different. All of a sudden, what the first person said doesn't seem so accurate anymore. And it's difficult. Solomon tells us here that it's the first person who pleads his case. They're the ones that seem to be right. And then he says, until another comes and examines him. Until you really look at the details. Until you really look at the evidence of what's going on. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful when considering and making a judgment. We can't always just go what the first person tells us or what one person tells us. We need to be careful and slow and diligent if we are to get a decision right. He tells us the challenges that we face. He says, when we offend somebody, when we offend a brother, somebody that we had a close relationship, that person is harder to win back than a strong city is to be conquered. He says, contentions are like the bars of a citadel, bars on a prison wall. And when we have strife, everything gets shut down. Now think about it. Think about it before you get into that discussion and argument with someone. How do you deal with them? Do you want to be the one that brings an offense, that crushes a brother? And saying you're sorry, although that's a critical step of the process of forgiveness, many times the damage is done. And it takes years to rebuild trust, years to reestablish that friendship, and most likely never to the level that it was before. So think before you speak, and seek not to be an offense to your brother. Till next time in the Pastor Study, goodbye, and may God bless.